Hello my friends and welcome back to the channel. In this one I'm going to show you how you can manage your form data from Netlify. Okay, so Netlify is a platform where you can host a static website for free. That's like a summary. They have a host of other functions that you can perform on their platform. Okay, but one of the important things people can do is that they can accept form data and store it in their Netlify dashboard. That's what I want to show you how to do. So basically this is a simple form, right, that I created. It has a name input and an email input, and then it has a button with the type of submit. And then I've added some styles to make the form look like this, what you see on the right. Okay, so now let me show you the modifications you need to do for you to be able to accept data on a form like this using Netlify. So first off, I'm going to come into the opening tag for the form and I'm going to give it a name. So in this case, I'm going to say subscribe. That's going to be the name of my form, and I am going to give it a method, and the method is going to be post. Okay, now these are like regular attributes you're going to use when you create a form, but what is important for allowing Netlify to access the data in this form is an attribute known as data hyphen Netlify, which I'm going to set to true. Okay, so this is actually the attribute that is very important, that is important for Netlify to be able to access the data in the form. All right, so I'll go ahead and save this. And by the way, I have this website, this piece of code on GitHub. Okay, so I've linked it to GitHub, this repository rather. All right, so now, but there's one more thing I want to do before we test this on Netlify, and that is to create a kind of honeypot that will prevent bots from gaining access to the form. And basically the way you do that is we're going to first come here and say Netlify hyphen honeypot. Okay, and we're going to set it to be equal to bot field. Okay, all right, so this should be Netlify. Okay, so Netlify hyphen honeypot equals bot field. Now, having done that, I'm going to come here, right, and I'm going to create another field that is going to catch bots. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to duplicate this guy out, this email guy here. I'll come here and I'll paste it in. Okay, and I'm going to change this label to I'll just say don't fill out this form. Okay, so don't so I'll say don't okay, and I'm just going to stop there. Now the input is just going to have a name of bot field, so I'm just going to get rid of this type, and then I'm going to give it a name of bot field. Okay, yeah, so that's all. Now if I save this, you will see that it's displayed on the page. Don't fill out this form. Okay, this should actually be input. Okay, so let me just say input. Now what I want is I don't want this to be displayed on the page. It will exist, but I don't want it displaying on the page, such that a human will not be able to actually fill it out. So inside of this paragraph, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come here and I'm going to say hidden. Okay, and I'll save that. Okay, but I'm also going to add area hyphen hidden. Yeah, and I'm going to set that to true. Okay, and basically we've essentially said that we don't want this to be seen by humans. Okay, so but a bot is definitely going to scroll through and see. So it's not like this actually does not exist. If I right click and inspect this page, you see that it does exist, but it's hidden from the page. Now we can now go ahead and upload this to Netlify. and we're going to do that via GitHub. So let me show you something. I'm going to open this guy here, and this is the repository. I have it on GitHub. I've made the first commit. If you don't know how to work with GitHub, I'll leave a link in the description that shows you how you can upload your local repository to GitHub. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to update the changes I've just made. Okay, so I'll bring up my git bash, and this is my git bash here. So let me just expand it a little so you can see what's going on. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, I'll say git status, and you see that I've made changes to index.html. So I'm going to use an express commit. I'll say git commit -am, okay, which is an express commit that will both add the, I don't want to go into that now. So what I'm going to do, I'll say updated index .html, okay, and then I'm going to hit enter, and that will add that to the working area. Now what I'm going to do, and make a commit as well. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to push it to my repository. So I'll say git push and -upstream. So I'm pushing it to the remote repository, and then I'll set the origin to master, and I'll hit enter. So it will upload that change to my remote repository, that's GitHub. So just give it a few seconds, and yeah, so it's done. Of course, if you okay, so let me go to the remote repository, and if I refresh this page now, you'll see that index.html will say updated. Just give it a minute. So you see it says updated index.html. So I'm sure that my change has been updated here. Now what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go to Netlify, and I would host this repository from on Netlify. So I'll come to Netlify and I'll create a new site. Let me see. Okay, so let me just go back. I'm sure you already know how to create a site on Netlify. If you don't, there's a tutorial on the channel. So basically this is your Netlify backend. I'm going to click on new sites from Git, right? And then I'm going to select GitHub. Now what this will do is it will go to my GitHub account and ask me to choose the repository. So currently I don't have that repository here. So I'll say configure the Netlify app on GitHub, and let it open my GitHub account. So let me then select the repository I want to add, which is, I think it has something like data. Okay, so Netlify form data, that's the name of the repository. So I'm just going to save that, and that should close up, and then I'll be able to access that Netlify form data repository here. So I'll click on it, and I'll just click on deploy site. Okay, so the site is deployed, and okay, site deploy in progress. Okay, good. So the site is fully deployed. Now this is the link Netlify has created for me, but of course you can change that. I think if you go to site settings, you can let me just look for that option somewhere here. I think it's domain setting, not site setting. So let me go back and just check on domain setting. Okay, so domain setting, yeah, so it's domain setting. So this is the name of the subdomain. Okay, you can add a custom domain, by the way, if you want, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click on options and say edit site name, and then I'll just change this to Netlify hyphen form hyphen data. Okay, and I'll save that. Hopefully someone has not taken that name. Okay, so it's available. So Netlify form data.netlify app. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open that in a new tab, and this is what it looks like. So let's go ahead and fill something. So I'm just going to say my name, Zeno, and I'm just going to put example at gmail.com. okay, so, and then I'm going to click on subscribe and watch what happens here. So you see, I get a message, thank you, your form submission has been received. Okay, now I can choose to go back to the site. Okay, so let me go back to the site, and to take me back to the home page. Now how do we access this form data that we just collected from Netlify? So we go to our Netlify dashboard, and there's this option here that says forms. Okay, so I'll click on forms, and this is the name of the form, subscribe. Okay, so I'll click on that. Okay, there's a problem. um example@gmail.com was actually marked as spam. That's really funny. Let me see. So you see Zeno, and so it marked it as spam. That's because example@gmail.com, does somebody really have that email? I don't know, but so but it marked it as spam, and the email was transferred to spam. So that's one of the things that uh you know Netlify forms, processing and security and all of that stuff does. They actually have Akismet. Akismet is like a WordPress um, spam, spam detector. Okay. So, but I hope you see the point that you can actually get, um, form submission. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to try this again, but I'll try it with something else. Okay. So maybe this one, and I'll click on subscribe. Hopefully this will not be marked as spam. So let me go back, and let me come and check for. So I'm going to go back here, and I'm going to, okay, so you see verified submission, order my food, and if you click here, you're going to see the email of that person. Okay, so that's how easy it is actually to get to link your to accept data from your Netlify website. So, but there's one more thing I want to show you, and that is how to get an email notification every time if somebody submits a form. So I'll go back on forms, and this is the Netlify form data website. So I'll click on site settings, right, and just come down here and look for forms. So this is it. Click on it, and if you scroll down, you see where you can form notification. Now, there are actually different options here. If I click on add notification, you see you can use outgoing webhooks, email notification, and Slack integration. So if I just go with email notification, you see here that you can select the email you want Netlify to notify, and then you can then select the form. So in my case, it's going to be subscribe form. So all I need to do is just put in my email here and click on save, and that is how easy it is to accept form data from your Netlify hosted web app. Okay, so thank you so much for watching this tutorial. If you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button for more amazing content on web development and other issues. Thank you so much, and see you in another one.